Hey everybody, I'm here with Chris Snow of the Florida Coastal team in St. Augustine, Florida. And we're going to chat a little bit today about why Chris ultimately decided to join eXp and what his experience has been. But first of all, Chris, tell me a little bit of background about your real estate career, your real estate team, maybe what you guys did last year.
Sure. Been in real estate since 2004, got my license, kind of came with a lending background. So I started out as a lender, decided I wanted to get into the real estate side of things, and been selling homes ever since. Our team last year, we've got a team of about between 7 and 8 agents at any given time, because we do have some people come on and come off the team. But last year we did 176 transactions. We were right at 42 million in closed business. We had 8 million on the books that carried over to this year. So, we had about 50 million in written and closed business in 2018.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a fun time, and that was actually making the transition midway through the year into over to eXp. So.
Right, so that's a big transition, and we'll get there in a minute. And that was a big transition, so that...
Huge transition, yes.
So good job doing so much in volume. I mean, you must have had a huge team to do that type of volume. How many agents were on your team, or are on your team?
Yeah, so currently we've got 9 total agents. Last year we did that volume with, on average, about 6 agents for the year.
That's very good production per agent.
Yep.
Awesome, good for you.
We got a great team, good folks, and they work hard at it, and they have fun. So.
Awesome, cool. So tell us where you were before.
Okay.
And ultimately why you ended up making the switch.
Sure. So we were a broker owner for a Century 21, so I actually owned a Century 21 franchise. And how we started with that was it was about 2014. We had our own independent brokerage, and we were looking to just try to grow, and we were finding it hard to grow on our own. So we felt like, hey, we needed to have a name behind us. So we affiliated with Century 21 and started that process of trying to build a brokerage, and that was an interesting time. It was an interesting time to say the least. The biggest thing that we found was that the same struggles that we had as an independent, we had being a big franchise. Was what above and beyond a high commission split can we offer someone and have them change and move brokerages. And unfortunately, it took us about 3 years to find out that the money that we were spending having affiliated with Century 21 really wasn't giving us a return back. And so that's how we started going through that process of looking for other opportunities that were out there.
That's awesome. So you went from being a Century 21 franchise owner. I mean, why not just, because obviously there was added expense at Century 21, why not just go start your own brokerage?
And that was something that we considered. I mean, that's a great question. We considered that. We looked at some other models that were out there. When I first started in real estate, I was at RE/MAX, so we kind of looked at going back to RE/MAX. And again, it's looking at what dollars am I spending and what return am I getting back. And all of them were kind of coming back to the same net number. And so it's like, okay, there are these other models that are out there. And it wasn't until I saw what eXp had to offer that I looked and said, oh my goodness, not only does this allow us to net more money, keep more money in our pocket, it gives us the opportunity to have additional sources of income and additional sources of revenue come in, not only for us as team leaders, but also for our team members. Yeah. And for us, that was one of the bigger overriding things is, when someone comes on our team, what other opportunities other than just selling houses can they have? And, again, when we saw the model, it just absolutely blew us away.
Yeah.
So, and you know the story about, what we ended up having to do to get out of that agreement. It wasn't.
Yeah. Are you okay saying?
Yeah. I think we can say now.
Okay.
So, so we ended up having to go through the process of getting out of a 10-year agreement 7 years early, and so we spent almost $90,000 to basically buy out of that contract. And to us, it was worth it to go ahead and do that. And we were fortunate enough to go through that whole process and come out the other side. It took us a little while to do it, but we're pretty far ahead at this point after about 6 months in. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool. And I've seen other franchise owners at different franchises do the same thing where they actually paid out a lump sum of money to get out of a contract early, which to me shows a lot about the eXp model and how big the opportunity is to really just write a check to actually join another company. I'm not sure, but I would doubt that that's happened with other brokerages before. I can't imagine someone writing a check and joining a different real estate company.
Correct.
So that's pretty cool. I'm glad you ultimately made that decision.
Yeah, I just wish we would have seen the eXp model 3 years earlier
Yeah.
before we ever got in that contract.
Yeah,
So.
don't we all wish that? It's funny. For the most part, I can't see, or I don't really know anyone who joined eXp and doesn't wish they joined a little bit earlier.
Correct.
Especially in your case, to not have to enter that contract for sure. So Chris, so you're looking at the eXp model. What were the major deciding factors of why you decided to join the company?
Yeah, for us, the two main factors were the ownership in stock, because again, as a Century 21 quote unquote franchise owner, we were putting in about $100,000 a year into Century 21 franchise fees, and we got no ownership in Century 21 or Realogy, the parent company, for those. So right off the bat, we looked at just the model of being able to own stock for the things that we do on a daily basis, sell homes, hit a cap, hit a number, and then continue selling houses. We were responsible as a broker owner to try to recruit people to our team or recruit people to the office. And so, again, when we did that, we didn't get anything, for that other than just, another person on our payroll. So that was one of the nice things, but really, it does come down to the rev share. Mm-hmm. Having the ability to grow a virtual brokerage without, having that overhead and that liability and that expense was tremendous. And we looked at it, wow, we're not really geographically limited to the 2 mile radius that they want our office to be located. I'm not having to have conversations with agents. Well, your office is all the way across town. Why should I join your Century 21 versus the Century 21 down the street from me? So we didn't, that was something that was very appealing to now have a broader base of people, not only in the Jacksonville market and the St. Augustine market, but really all of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, anywhere in the United States to start, leveraging those relationships that we've built over the 15 years in real estate.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it. You said you were with Century 21 for how long?
3 years.
3 years. And you were able to grow your team to, at the top, I guess, about 9 agents?
Yep, that is correct.
And now in how many months at eXp? How many do you have on your team now?
About 6 months at eXp, and we've got 30 team members total.
Representing multiple states.
Multiple states.
And your goal for the end of this year, how many people would you think you'd have in your organization, your team by then?
The goal would be to at least be at 60 to double that. I'd love to get to 100 before the end of the year.
I think you'll hit 100.
Yeah.
And how much additional expense is it going to cost you to grow to that size?
No additional expense.
Exactly. So you're not going to go out and get any more offices, sign leases.
Nope.
That's the power of eXp. It's crazy. It was cool when you were telling me about that yesterday, how you were sharing that with another, I think, a broker owner friend or somebody. And I was like, man, that sounds like crazy to go from in 3 years to only be at 9 to 6 months to be at 30. And to see what you're going to do in the next 6 months is going to be spectacular. So, and I love too what you said about this opportunity is also for your agents.
Correct.
I think that's the biggest thing, just knowing you and knowing your heart. You want to see those around you succeed at such high levels too, and to be able to offer the revenue share and stock to your people, your family, your team members. Like, that happens nowhere else.
The interesting thing as a team leader, broker owner, however you want to describe it, if the office as a whole is making less money than the agents, the office probably isn't going to survive for very long. You're not going to be able to pump revenue back in there to support the team. Mm-hmm. What I love about the revenue share model is that the agents on my team have an opportunity to make 10 times more money than I do on the revenue share if I don't go and work the business.
Right.
And so that's what I love, is that regardless of whether whoever sponsored you, who's your upline, who's your downline, you have the opportunity to make whatever you put into it. And so that was the cool part, is that, hey, if they see the vision, they want to go out and run, and they're running faster than I am, they're going to grow their organization faster, and they're going to make more money than I am.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I love that, because they now have the opportunity to kind of really own their own brokerage through growing their revenue share organization. And like you said, they can out-earn you. if they really work it.
Yep.
And their capital investment is going to be what on that?
$85 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
So
instead of buying a franchise that
Yeah.
could cost how much, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean
With
you're talking
leases.
25,000 for a franchise buy-in.
Yeah, just for
Yeah.
the right to have the name.
That is correct, and
Yeah.
then probably a $3,000 a month lease. And
Yeah.
the crazy thing for our team is that because they're on our team, we pay all their expenses.
Yeah.
So that $85 a month, we're actually paying that for them, so they
Oh.
get to run a free business.
Well, that's very nice of you. So if you're in the Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Florida area, come work for Chris, and he covers all your fees at eXp.
Hit us up. So.
No, but in all honesty, if you know Chris and you want to reach out to him about the opportunity at eXp, definitely do that. Do you have a good email where they can do that?
Yep, it's Chris at floridacoastalteam.com. Chris at floridacoastalteam.com.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add?
No, this has just been an exciting journey. For us picking up, we had a lot to risk. Obviously, we put a capital investment to buy out of our franchise, but there's a huge risk with having the type of business that we have to move over to eXp. It wasn't that we were putting a couple of transactions at risk. We were putting, a big
Right.
book of business. And we really have not seen any sort of slowdown, anyone actually go, well, I don't want to do business with eXp, which again, I think that really wasn't a concern, but at the same time, you never know until you make the transition. So, we've loved it. And, making that transition over the first couple of months was just, figuring out how we do business with eXp, how do we work in the world, how do we close our transactions out. Once we got that up and running, now it's like, okay, look, let's keep spreading the good news and, get as many people introduced to eXp as we can.
So overall, your experience has been good since coming over?
Absolutely. It's been fantastic. I mean, anytime we've had questions, we've gotten those answered in the world ASAP. So
Cool. So if you're interested in getting more information, reach out to Chris or myself. We both have the same exact webinar that we can share with you that is the same webinar that we watched, for the most part the same webinar that we watched, and we can share that with you. I mean, when I first saw that, I was so excited. I can fall asleep like that typically. This kept me up a little bit just thinking about the possibility. So reach out to us. We can share that with you, and that's it.
thank you much.